This is Frankie Abbruzzino with the Scoop News. Park maintenance. I think I put out a post briefly on this. They were talking about the issue came up about a fence costing just over $7,000. I think it was a continuation of a contract, something that had already been started to clean up rust. Bob Daniels was a huge advocate of doing nothing. He said, "Look, guys, right now when we do this, we're basically telling the county, well, we'll fix some stuff." And it's sending the wrong message because we want them to take ownership of it. And they again threw out, and I believe it was Bob that said it, and I don't remember, but he basically said, look, why are we putting out, I think John, who handles the parks, came out and said that it's going to cost Veneziano, it's going to cost something like $3 million for the Wellfield and Chuck Reiter. I'm not sure if the community center was thrown in there because that's another grievance I'll touch on in a second. And they're saying, look, the city of Venice doesn't have $3 million. We only have 11%, I believe is the number they've thrown out before, of our population that may utilize this with their kids. So why are we picking up the brunt of this expense? And Sarasota County is nothing, and it doesn't make sense. As you know from previous meetings, Hollick, I think, made a reference that he talked to one of the high ups at the park, and they basically said, look, we don't care what you do with it. We're not going to give you money. Tear it down and put condos on there. And that's where the whole direction seems to be going, where a lot of these city council members are saying, look, you know what? 11% of our people use it. Why should we be putting out $3 million? Let's just tear it down, put up condo parks. Something else, and I can't remember who said this yesterday. I believe it was Mayor Houck. I don't remember, and I'd have to listen to the video. They stated that they did some research. It might have been Bob. They did some research and found that the Wellfield is considered a regional sports park, but based upon its size, it doesn't qualify as a regional park. And so it should not be considered a regional park. Not sure how that comes into play. So basically, they're at the stranglehold. I could tell you that I listened to the county meeting when they did their budgets, and the county did not mention Wellfield. They did not mention Chuck. They did not mention extra money. The only extra money they mentioned, with the slight increase, I think she went from 10 to 15%, was for the acquisition of more property for parks. Nothing in the conversation about increase in budget or handling any of the expenses. Now, on the community center, that's going to cost about $600,000, I believe, for a new roof. And Hollick and Bob, they're the more vocal individuals, have stated, hey, this was due to negligence of the county, and why should we have to pay? And so there's a big beef with that too. So the saga continues. I tell you what, a lot of people say, oh, nothing's going to happen. Don't worry, don't worry. But I'm one of those guys that follow politics all the time. I've seen it before. Don't worry, don't worry. And next thing you know, you're losing stuff. I could tell you, if I'm sitting here and I have no kids like the majority of the residents within the city of Venice, I'm wondering if I want to put out $3 million for these two parks that nobody's using. You know, nobody's using that, I should say, is a resident of the city of Venice. Very minimal. And do I want to do that? Now, the other side is there's some economic incentive because these kids come here. I know when my daughters used to play softball there, we would go to Angelo's and elsewhere. Now I lived in the city, but you know, there is some economic incentive that comes along, which I don't think anybody looks at. But I think the individuals that utilize this Wellfield and Chuck Reiter, you have to become more vocal. Not necessarily at the city level. I think it's more at the county level, in my opinion. And contacting the county commissioners and saying, look, we need something done here. You can't do this. We need action taken. And I would include the city on that. Now, I'm going to put all their emails above this video on my website. And best of luck to you guys out there. This has been Frankie Abbruzzino with the Scoop News.